Most people don't feel wealthy, but you're actually better off than you think. Today, we have 5 signs that you're actually richer than you think. Do any of these apply to you? Find out. Welcome in to Perfect Game Retirement. I'm Ben George with Ryan Ledden over at Black Oak Asset Management. He is president there, also a certified financial planner. And I know, Ryan, before we jump into today's topic, we always talk about how you work with a lot of clients around Georgia and, obviously the Atlanta area, which you service quite a bit. But now you guys have opened up an office in Florida too, which I wanted to let you speak on just for a second before we jump into this.
Yeah, we're in the process of opening up a Florida office, which is kind of cool. I never kind of thought that would be the case. It wasn't in my kind of 5-year plan, if you will. But one of our advisors here, Damon, he kind of lives half the year here, and he recently bought a house in Florida, and we started kicking around the idea of, hey, if you're going to spend half the year down there, then let's maybe open up office down there. So. It'll be in the Jacksonville area, Ponte Vedra. So it gives me an excuse to go down to the beach. So I'll definitely be going down there a good bit. Damon will mainly run that office there. Again, he's half the year here, half the year there. He recently got his pilot's license as well. So he's going to be, he calls it his time machine. So he'll be going back and forth in his own plane. And anyway, so really cool for him. He's only a few years older than me, but I keep kidding with him. I want to be like him when I grow up, because he's done a lot of different things in his life. And anyway, so he's gonna be doing that. So look forward to that. So it's kind of cool to expand that office, not only just from the 3 offices we have in the metro area, but then to have one in Florida too.
Yeah, you can learn more at blackoakam.com, but congratulations on that. That's pretty cool. And hopefully we'll give you an excuse to get away from time to time. All right, so we're going to get into today's topic, which is, all about wealth. And a lot of people feel like they're not wealthy. They're working really hard, maybe have some really good habits of saving money, but, maybe don't feel like you're rich or in a really good spot. And a lot of times we're comparing ourselves to other people, and maybe that's part of it. But I want to talk about some of these habits, some of these signs that maybe you are building lasting wealth and you're on the right track, doing a really good job, and maybe just don't really quite realize it yet, which is also a reason why you work with an advisor. They help bring these things to light. All right, Ryan. So the first sign here is you've actually prepared with an emergency fund. Seems pretty simple, but a lot of people don't have that emergency fund in place, do they?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all different studies and articles about like the percentages of people, if they had over a $500 emergency, how many people could actually cover that with what's in their checking or savings account. And the number, the percentage, I can't quote it, but it's staggering, like how high of a percentage that is that people can't cover even a $500 expense that they were not expecting. So again, we can have $1,000 car payments all day long, but outside of that, we're squeezing our margins on a monthly basis. So people who have a fully funded emergency fund, and I get this question a lot: how much should I have in my emergency fund? A lot of people kick around the 3 to 6 months of expenses. I think, to me, it's just what feels right for you. I would say the minimum for a fully funded emergency fund is 3 months of expenses, but if you want to go higher than that, I'm perfectly okay with that. If it gives you a peace of mind to have a larger number in there, great. With interest rates being higher right now, that money that just sits there, you can at least earn a little bit of interest on that. Whereas 4 or 5 years ago, you couldn't do any of that because it wasn't earning anything. The inflation was just chewing that up, and to some degree, inflation is eating into that as well. But at least you're getting something on that money that's sitting there and serving a purpose. I tell people there's nothing real intriguing about an emergency fund, but that's what it's there for, to be able to click a button, have that money moved over, and be able to cover an emergency that comes your way, which is going to happen sometime. But yeah, just having a fully funded emergency fund, you're way ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah, great starting point. So again, might not seem crazy, but a lot of people don't have that in place. So if you do, you're in a pretty good position. All right, here's another sign you might actually be in a pretty good position financially. You live below your means. We hear all the time, right? You need to make more than you're spending, Ryan, but it's a habit so many Americans fail to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, this is adding and subtracting. This is, first grade math, second grade math, but it's again so difficult to do sometimes. But I've even have clients who I refer out to financial coaches that help them with the nitty gritty of their budget and where they can cut out these things, and live below those means. And that holds true while you're working, but it also holds true when you get to retirement too. We got to get underneath that amount you have coming in per month. I get it. Life gets busy. It gets expensive when you have kids, and then maybe aging parents that you're helping out. It's difficult. So that's why you have to build in that discipline to invest and do your 401k or any outside brokerage accounts or Roths or IRAs. You have to do that sort of thing, and just start, and then start trickling that percentage amount up. But living below your means is very difficult. Trust me, I'm in the heat of it right now, and it's only going to get more expensive with a sixth grade son and a ninth grade daughter. I haven't had to buy that car yet for my daughter, and that's coming soon, which is scary to think about. I trust her as a driver. I take her in parking lots, and she's great now, but still, you're on the open road. You don't know who you're sharing the road with out there. So that part's scary. And then college is coming soon. And then same thing with my son, we're right behind her. So I haven't even got to the really, really expensive phase, but just travel sports in general. It dings your wallet pretty good, and you have to account for those things. So you have to live below your means. And if you do, you're probably richer than most people.
Yeah, 100%. It is definitely a challenge, especially if you have children, as you've explained there. But listen, you have to make sure you do that in order to position yourself better in the long term. All right, here's the third sign that you might be secretly wealthy. Let's say you invest strategically. So I want you to get into this a little bit, Ryan. I know there's a lot of investing strategies out there, but what's a successful, or what is a good approach to investing strategically that can really benefit you long term?
Yeah, I mean, the no-brainer of all no-brainers is at least going up to the 401k match. You have to, however that's laid out for you. And when you get a new job, that should be one of your questions is, do we have a retirement plan? Which hopefully they say yes. And if they do, what's the match? So figure out what that percentage is, because every company's different. Trust me, with the clients that we work with, I've seen all different ratios and percentages. The standard is if you put in 5, your employer will put in 4%. So it's dollar for dollar up to 3. And then the next 2 percentage points, you get a half a point. So that's where the 5 to 4. That's called a safe harbor 401k. You don't need to know what the name of that is, but it's a easy plan for an employer to implement, and it gets rid of all the testing and all that kind of stuff, that behind the scenes stuff you don't need to know anything about. But at least do that. That again, that's a no-brainer. So, and then for me, we always tell people, invest 10 to 15% of your salary. Well, try not to count that 4% or 5% or 6% or 3%, whatever you get. Try not to count that as your percentage. Do your income, again, get to at least 10, and then try to trickle your way up to 15 if you can. So go up to a match in a 401k. Once you get to that point, if you can do outside Roth IRAs, then I probably would from there. If you don't qualify or you make too much money, then just keep putting more money back in your 401k. And if you have a Roth 401k, even better, because the match will be pre-tax and your contributions will be post-tax. So I'm a big fan of Roth 401ks because income limits do not apply. In an outside Roth IRA, your income limits do apply. So if you make too much money, you technically can't actively contribute to a 401k. A Roth IRA. There's a backdoor Roth. We'll get into more details on that maybe on another show. You could potentially do a backdoor Roth if you qualify for that. But a Roth 401k, do as much as you can in there, and then the employer match will be all pre-tax from there.
All right. So yeah, some good points there on investing. If you have questions for Ryan about the strategies you need to employ, or maybe some investments that you need to look forward to, or just have him look over your portfolio in general to see where you stand and see if any adjustments need to be made, you can go to speakwithryan.com to schedule a time to meet with him. All right. Number 4 on our list here of our signs. you have multiple income streams. I know diversification is so important, Ryan, and I know going beyond investing, there's a lot of side hustles out there, and a lot of people do chase that, and there's a lot of opportunity out there today. And if you are someone that's taking advantage of that and creating an extra income stream for yourself, you're going to be in a great position.
Yeah, I mean, side hustles are obviously becoming more and more common with technology, online, obviously AI. It's amazing what people can do as a quote unquote side hustle, and it may turn into their main hustle. We don't know, but so creating extra streams of income that way. Also, passive real estate investing you can do where, I kid around and call it mailbox money, but that's essentially what it is. If you buy some real estate, whether it's you buying a hard asset yourself or going into the pool of investors to receive like a monthly check on a monthly basis. So that's another way to create an income stream as well. So not only do you have your main paycheck, maybe a side hustle, but maybe you have real estate coming in as a passive income as well. So having multiple income streams, not just by you showing up at work and putting in the hours, having other streams of income too, if you can, even if it's just one additional source. But the more sources you have, the better, and that's where you can really put yourself way ahead of most people.
All right, here's our last one. Again, this is a strategy I think that we talked about quite a bit. I know if you work with a financial professional, you probably heard this, but it's all about focusing on the long term. It's a habit that can help you build long-lasting wealth. And again, this is an important one, Ryan, because it's not easy. And we know we need to be thinking long term. We get so caught up in the headlines day to day that it's easy to take a misstep here.
Yeah, again, one of those things easier said than done. Because again, I've read so many books on the behavior and the psychology of how we interact with money, and again, focusing on the long term, it doesn't resonate. It resonates in the brain as if it's someone else. So that's when we think long term, like that's me in 30 years. That's somebody else. No, that's you. It's just a different form of you. But again, where it triggers, where it resonates, or it fires in your brain, if you will, it registers as, yeah, that's not me, that's somebody else. So that's what's hard to get people to invest on the long term when there's so many, shiny objects in front of us on a daily basis that we just have to have. And, a lot of times, these things here, we just, click one thing, click one button, and then boom, it's on our doorstep 2 days later. So man, that is very difficult to fight because it's so easy, it's so accessible, but yet we put this money away in a 401k or retirement plan, and it may be 20% less in a year from now. And trying to get people to understand, hey, that's just short term, but long term it could be way, way, way bigger than that. So it's difficult to resonate. I mean, even my son was in here in the office with me, and I'm trying to show him like, hey, if you buy this and this, so it's hopefully resonating with him. But it's just difficult to fight, to think of the long term when there's so many short term things that we can buy or short term volatility in the market. That's just tough to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So 5 signs. Hopefully, maybe if you're all 5 of these are apply to you, then great. You're in a wonderful position. But again, the reminder is, look, focus on your own financial habits. You can't compare yourself to others when it comes to wealth. It's all about focus on what you can control. And I know, Ryan, it might seem like you're struggling, or it might seem like you're falling behind, but doing these things every single day might not show up when you look at your bank account every single week. But over the years, as you get closer to retirement, you're really going to notice the difference, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that you just kind of hit the nail on the head. Not one of these did we mention the nest egg amount, the actual dollar amount in there, because that is different for everyone. The ability to save is different for everyone. Income streams, what you need. Anyway, so we did not one time say, well, 2.5 million. If you got 2.5 million, you're going to be better than everybody else. Yeah. We didn't even mention that. So these are all habits that you can get to, and maybe that is a large nest egg number that doing these things that will equate to that. But we did not say one time that you at least have to have this. That's when you're considered quote unquote rich if you have this certain amount. And we didn't mention that. So it's more habits than anything.
Yep. And beyond this, if you want to find out if you are on the right track, go to speakwithryan.com to book a time with Ryan over at Black Oak Asset Management to see exactly where you stand and figure out what adjustments need to be made and what habits you can instill moving forward. But hopefully this video has helped you out. If it did, please subscribe. We appreciate that support and look forward to talking to you again soon.